Hello guys, Kevin's here, State and Co Truck Insurance. In today's video, I'll show you how to complete MCS 150 application and how to get your MC number and DOT numbers active. Some of you choose to, you can hire somebody online and pay them $500, $600, $800. They'll complete it for you, but it's not a rocket science, and I believe anybody could complete this by themselves online. So in this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through the application process. And first of all, you have to go onto FMCSA.dot.gov website. So this is the main website where you will register. It's been changed a few years ago, and the new application process is under the registration tab. And then you have to click apply for a new USDOT number and Port Authority. So let's go next, and I'm gonna zoom in so this looks a little bit bigger. So new applicant or returning applicant. Through the application, you'll have option to save it, and you can come back at any time later on. You will have application ID and the user password. In our case, we're a brand new application, so I'm gonna click and start on new applicant and go next. And this is just a disclaimer about the URS online application, which is Unified Registration System. And again, you'll have application ID assigned and a password in case you need to go back and finish it later. So let's go next. And before you begin the process, you will have to have your EIN number. If you're a corporation or LLC, if you're a sole proprietor and have a DBA, then yes, you will be able to set this up with your social security number. You don't have to have Dun & Bradstreet number, and just provide company officers with titles, which basically, if you're owner or CEO, that's what you're gonna list in the application. And let's go next. The financial responsibility notice. This is to where that that financial responsibility is electronically filed with FMCSA, and that's what's gonna get done by the insurance company. Once you complete the application, the authority is not gonna be active until you get the insurance and until the insurance company issues MCS 90 federal filing, which is typically done the same day when you bind the coverage, and then the insurance agent can email you a copy of that filing. And it does show up on FMCSA website. Actually shows up on SAFER website, which I'll show you later on what it looks like. So let's go next. Designation of process agent notice. You will have to have assigned processing agent, and that's BOC3 filing. It's not to be confused with insurance filing MCS 90, and because it's not being done by the insurance agent, the filing you can do it yourselves, and costs only $30. In my next video, I'll have that covered, or you can pay somebody online couple hundred bucks to file the BOC3 filing for you. And basically what this is, so if your business is based, let's say in North Carolina, and you're interstate trucking covering 48 states, and then an accident happens in Texas, you get sued, then the processing agent will notify your home state in North Carolina about the pending lawsuit in Texas, because that's where, let's say the bad accident took place. So that's basically all what the processing agent does, and it's that BOC3 filing. So let's go next. Issuance of an active DOT number notice, that, basically confirming that yes, you'll have a new DOT number. And okay, go next. And then the certification of oaths and signature notices, that again, you're going to certify that under oath that the information you enter is true and correct, and then provide titles of people who are completing the application. Again, if you're completing it yourself, and if you're a CEO or a president or owner, that's what you're going to list as a title. Okay, and then the process introduction. So in this section, it talks that the information that you will enter in MCS 150 is a public information, and it becomes public within 1 hour 20 minutes. So the phone number that you list on the application and the email that is going to be available to the public, and any related or interested party in checking your record, they can go online, and it's a separate website, Safer, which actually, let me show you what it looks like. So that's Safer, and I already had the company picked up. So anybody within that hour, 20 minutes after you complete the application can go onto safer.fmcsa.dot.gov, and they can put your company name or your DOT number, and they'll pull up your record, and it's going to show company name, DBA if there's one, your address, phone number, email is actually under this section, SMS results. So yes, anybody, insurance agents, insurance companies, brokers, shippers, or any business that's interested in selling you something will have access to this public information. So just be prepared that your email and your phone that you listed on FMCSA is going to explode. There are going to be tons of messages and solicitations, voicemails. I typically recommend have a different phone number and different emails set up for this purpose, because yes, you will get a lot of junk, but at the same time, you cannot ignore the email that you listed in this, because there's some important notifications that FMCSA will be emailing you. And at the same time, for example, if you're signing up with the Amazon, Amazon Relay, they do a callback verification. They will use the phone number that you're, put on the system with FMCSA. So if you miss that call, because that was just secondary phone number that you set up and you never checked it, you won't get appointed and approved with Amazon. All right, so application, now we have to create. So we already have a user ID, an applicant ID assigned. Password, which is always kind of a little bit of a mess because it has to be multiple. I think it's 12 characters. It has to be that special character, and then make sure it matches. Okay, mine doesn't match. Let me do it again. All right. Okay, now it matches. The security questions, and again, that's you'll pick, what your high school mascot. Mine was a bulldog. Okay, the security question number 2, my least favorite vegetable, beans. I don't like beans. They make me gassy. Security question number 3, mother's maiden name, pet's name. My pet's name is cat named Jack. All right. And again, those are made up, so don't don't try to log into my account. The application contact. This is the contact person who's completing the application. Like I said, if you're doing it yourself, this is it's your information, and it's okay to list your home address and as a business address or as a mailing address. But if you do have a physical business location, then yes, you can list that as a physical business location. Okay, contact. All right, so Joe Doe. We'll just make it up. Name is Joe Doe. And again, the type of the contact is a company contact. Oops, so it's Joe, middle name, no middle name, last name is Doe. And then the title, I am the owner. That's my title. Next, address. Address, this system is connected with the United States Postal Service system. So some addresses, if you're in that rural, or let's say your address is US Highway 27, and it's spelled out fully, but the Postal Service has where it's US and then abbreviated HWY. Again, you'll have to make sure that the address is listed exactly how it's listed with the Postal Service. So my address, and again, this is just a made up one. It's 902 Richland Drive. And then instead of putting a city, just plug it in the zip code, and it'll find the city where you reside. Okay, next, yep, so pre-populated Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, phone number is United States, and this is our number, agency's number. And again, you can list your phone number or that secondary phone number that you got for the purpose of this. But again, you cannot ignore that number. You'll have to check messages periodically because depending whom you're signing up with, those brokers might have a callback verification. So again, that's important. Fax number or cell, that's up to you. You don't have to list that. And then email. Again, some user primarily email, that's fine. But if you do, just be prepared that you will have lots of solicitations. I'm using Joe, and again, that's a just made up email and the preferred contact method. I mean, you want both, just in case, because again, it's a serious stuff, so you don't want to miss any notices or notifications from FMCSA. Okay, application business description. Okay. Does the applicant have Dun & Bradstreet number? No. Not even sure what is the benefit of having the DBN number. It probably lists you in some kind of database, and then you'll have even more solicitations, but again, you don't have to have one. Legal business name, and this one's kind of tricky. Let me go back to this company. So their name is Key Transport Logistics LLC, and if you're registered with the state with LLC or Inc., that is your legal business name. You make sure you list that LLC or Inc. at the end, because everything needs to match. The way you listed with the state, with FMCSA, and the insurance documents, including the federal filing MCS 90, has to match 100%. DBA, not sure why this guy even listed a DBA, because it's Key Transport Logistics LLC, DBA Key Transport Logistics. I think he got confused, and I'll go back to the application, because so my company's name is Joe Logistics LLC, and then click next, and you see that's where it asks for a DBA name. So I think that's where some people get confused and they list it again, because I've seen it time after time where it's, you know, Tom's Transportation LLC, DBA Tom's Transportation. You know, it just makes it your name much longer because it is a legal name, and then it shows up on the insurance documents, your, you know, all the paperwork, and it just, you know, like I said, unless you're a sole proprietor or, you know, you're Joe Doe and you don't want to use your personal name, then yes, I think the DBA certainly makes sense, because you just don't want to brokers dispatch to, you know, Joe Doe by registering a DBA, and DBA has to be registered with the state. You can't just slap a DBA and say it's Joe Doe DBA Perfect Logistics. You know, that you know, you want to make sure that DBA is registered. And again, let me zoom in. So no DBA, just leave it blank. Okay, and next is the applicant's principal place of business address, the same as the applicant's contact address. In my case, yes. The address that I put previously is the same as my business address, is the same as my mailing address, and that's what I'm going to use going forward. And like I said, it's absolutely perfectly fine to use your home address for business and mailing. The one thing, be prepared, because the insurance companies, when they look at your, and again, let me go back to this example. So you see, he's listing the same physical address and the mailing address, which basically, when the insurance company rates his premium, this is the address they use to, or this is where the truck is parked and garaged. And although this is probably residential property, they'll use that for the rating, and that can determine and move it up or down the price on the insurance. If you do have a different parking garaging location for your truck, you have to mention that to your insurance agent, and you have to be prepared to show a proof of that, because the insurance company is going to ask and say, okay, so we see with FMCSA you listing your business address here, and you're telling it's a different one. We need some kind of documentation, a payment receipt, a rental agreement, or if it's parked at your, you know, friend's junkyard because, you know, he's just had available space, you know, he will need to write a letter saying, I'm allowing Joe Doe to park at my property, and he needs to be the owner of the property. So just be mindful of that. Okay, let's zoom in again. So yes, in my case, the address is the same as the applicant, which you see it already pre-populates, and my mailing address is the same. And again, some choose to have a PO box or a virtual address, which, you know, it's absolutely fine. You can have two different ones. All right, let's go next. Phone number. So again, phone number, I'm still listing. That's our office number. Okay, and let's go next. Employer identification number or social security number. Below this video, there is a link to IRS website where you can apply and obtain EIN. If you do it online, it takes like 24 hours. There is no fee, and I think everybody should have EIN instead of just using their social, because then for the insurance purposes and everywhere you go, when you're completing those packages for the brokers, you will be asked for the social if you're doing it as a sole proprietor with the registered DBA. So, and EIN, again, it's just a made up one. I don't really have one. So let's go next. Is the applicant a unit of government? That means, so the question is, are you completing this application because you're, you know, City of Charlotte or Mecklenburg County, because yes, if you are a unit of government or federal or state and the local government, yes, you would have to disclose that. Most of the applicants and truckers starting in this business, the answer is no, because yeah, if you're, you know, owner operator, the answer is no. Okay, business description. So again, like I said, you already have to have your entity set up, your EIN number, because you will be asked this question. In my case, I am limited liability company, and the state of registration is, in my case, is North Carolina. That's where the business is based. Okay, and next screen asks about the owned and controlled, you know, by this, you know, you can be a citizen of US, Canada, or Mexico, or any other foreign country. In my case, I am the citizen of United States. So let's go next. And business description, the names and titles of sole proprietors, partners, and others. So it's the same in my case again. I'm the owner, I'm the CEO, I'm the, okay, so I'm using this, oops, same information all over again. And title, I am the owner. Email is, joe@gmail.com. Again, don't try to email me because this is a made up email. It'll go nowhere. Just email to kevin@statecoinsurance.com if you have any questions. Phone number is local 90 475-8075. All right, and let's go next. Address, again, that's my made up Richland, although it is a real address. I had to look it up, make sure it's gonna be linked with that US Postal Service 28211. And let's see where it pre-populates. So Charlotte, North Carolina, bingo, perfect. All right, and you see the summary of this. Again, make sure everything is correct. And again, if you need to save and go back later, this is where you can do that, save. But let's go back next. All right, and now the operation classifications. This is where you choose what type of for-hire carrier you are. And this is where we see lots of errors and oops. You know, when people, I guess, complete their own applications, they don't really read this part and they don't completely understand what exactly they're going to be doing. Most likely, you will be motor carrier of property. That means that that yes, you will be delivering you know, freight for others, carriers for hire, and that's what makes you for hire. Intermodule equipment provider, that's where, you know, if you have those chassis and deliver intermodular containers from ports. For passengers, those are your buses, charter buses, taxis. In this case, actually, you'll have to have a $5 million policy. motor carrier of household goods. That's the one where we see sometimes. I had a client a couple of weeks ago where, you know, he was thinking about signing up with Amazon, and he was listing that he's going to deliver household goods for Amazon, because his thinking was, he's like, well, Amazon delivers all kinds of household goods. No, that's wrong. He's a motor carrier of property. The household goods carrier, that's if you're a moving company. So basically, yes, if you're, you know, helping people relocate from Charlotte to Austin, Texas, you know, you would be a household goods mover. And then broker or freight forwarded or cargo tank facility. Do not combine, and I've seen it time after time where motor carriers, they also put they're going to be a broker or freight forwarder under same MC and DOT number. Do not do that, because insurance companies, they don't like when the carrier for hire is also listed as a broker or a freight forwarder. They will decline your application and you will not be able to get insurance. The proper way of doing that, you'd have to have two separate entities. One's a, you know, trucking for hire, another one is broker or a shipper. And again, if you do that, it'll show up. Let's go back to Safer. So this one's carrier shipper, and if he was a, you know, freight forwarder, it will say that, you know, a freight forwarder or a broker. If insurance companies see that, they'll say, well, he needs to update that, remove the freight forwarder or a broker. That takes like a week or even more to update, so all the time he'll have to wait and won't be able to get the insurance. Okay, let's go next. Okay, the question is, am I going to be delivering intermodular? Am I intermodular equipment provider? The answer is no, and that's, again, kind of shows you, tries to keep it simple, you know, as a container, ship, and a truck. Nope, I'm not going to be doing that. All right, will the applicant transport property? The answer is always yes, because yes, you will be transporting property, and again, unless you're transporting people, that would be, you know, that's where you chose that different option. Okay, and will the applicant receive compensation of transferring property that belongs to others? So this is what the distinguished, you know, this is the trucking for hire versus trucking private property. When you're trucking for hire, you are delivering goods that belong to others. Basically, others own those goods, and the broker engages and hires you on behalf of a manufacturer to deliver that load from New York to Chicago, let's say. You would not be for hire if, let's say, you own a manufacturing company here in Winston-Salem, and that manufacturing company manufactures cell phone covers, and you only deliver those cell phone covers, you know, from that factory, and this is your factory, and you just deliver to local Walmart or a Target. That would be a private property. You're not for hire because you own, this is your own, you know, stuff that you manufacture. But in most of the cases, again, trucking for hire, yes, you are delivering property that belongs for others, and that what makes you trucking for hire. Okay. Again, this one's pretty important because again, it asks you about what types of commodities will you be delivering, and we see time after time where in some cases people just, because they think, oh, I might do hazmat, I might do this, I might do that, you just check all over the place. No, stick with, you know, keep it simple. If you're just general freight, dry van, or flatbed, those are most likely non-hazardous freight. And again, if you are hazmat, then yes, choose hazmat. If you're agricultural, choose agriculture. You know, if you're a moving company, then that's what you choose. You're a moving company. But my company, just dry van, general freight, nothing too crazy. All right, and will the applicant transport non-hazmat materials across the state lines, otherwise known as interstate commerce? I'm gonna pause on this one and just explain a little bit further. Interstate versus intrastate. Intrastate means within your home state. If your business is based in North Carolina, and let's say you only deliver, you know, you're hired by this manufacturer who wants you to ship those rubber ducks that they make in Greensboro, North Carolina, and you just run the same load every day, those rubber ducks from Greensboro, North Carolina to Walmart in Charlotte, North Carolina, that would make you intrastate trucker. And in this case, you only need to get a DOT number. You don't have to pay a fee. You don't have to have MC number. And none of that you would have to worry about. What makes you interstate commerce trucking for hire is if you cross state lines or if you deliver goods that actually made into the state and cross state lines by getting there. An example would be, let's say you run a box truck and you deliver from Amazon's fulfillment center in Charlotte, and your run is pretty much the same every day. You pick up the load from fulfillment center in Charlotte and run that load to Winston-Salem and then Raleigh, North Carolina. In this case, you still are required to have MC number and you are considered interstate trucking because those goods that made into Amazon's fulfillment center, they originated, they were probably shipped to a port in Savannah, so crossed from Georgia, South Carolina, and then into North Carolina. And brokers that you'll be working with, they will tell you if you need to have MC number. And again, the answer is most likely yes. And yes, there's a difference in price for the insurance. So keep that in mind. If you check on your FMCSA that you're just intrastate, it'll be a little bit cheaper, and agent will see that on your safer record. But if you're interstate, meaning you're crossing state lines, you can deliver all 48 states. And in our case, yes, I am going to be interstate commerce. So yes, I will be crossing from one state to another. And so let's go next. And will the applicant transport their own property? Again, back to my example, if you are a manufacturer, then this is your stuff that you make. And those cell phone covers you only sell, to like Walmarts and Targets, then yes, you would say that this is my property, I own it, but trucking for hire most of the time, no, we are delivering property that belongs to somebody else. Okay, passengers, nope, I'm not delivering any passengers. It can be dangerous people, but again, if you are taxi, cab company, limo, charter bus, then yes, that's what you'll check. Okay. Will the applicant provide property or household broker services? No, again, I'm not a broker of household goods, and that's where your moving company is. Okay, freight forwarding services. Again, do not combine and list that you're a carrier / freight forwarder because you will not get insurance. Insurance companies don't like when you're doing both under the same MCDOT number because that creates some other issues which I can get into in the next videos, but again, the answer is no. I'm not freight forwarder, I'm just carrier, trucking for hire. Cargo tank facility. I do not plan on operating cargo tank facility. Drive-away. Drive-away, that's basically when you're towing other trucks from one dealership to maybe another, or from manufacturer to a dealership. I do not plan on doing that. Okay, towaway. Towaway, that's your towing company. That's where somebody parked illegally on the street. A nosy neighbor saw, called tow company. They came and towed your car. That's a towing company. Again, I do not plan on operating towing company. I'm just dry van, trucking for hire, general freight. And so this is the big one. This is where sometimes like I said, I feel that clients are like, oh, bingo, and they start like checking all the boxes. I've seen it time after time. And let me go back. So this example so at least this guy did it properly. He's on the general freight and he's just general freight. And that's the box he checked. And you kind of go back to, that's the general freight box. I mean, there's like 60-70% commodities fall under general freight. Because I've seen where sometimes people would be general freight. They would check meat, building materials, vehicles, paper products, refrigerated goods, because the commodities will have a huge impact on how insurance companies rate your business. Because some insurance companies, they don't insure reefers. So if you checked reefers, they'll just decline you. Nobody's even going to tell you because they saw that you checked that box, although you did not even think about, but you just kind of like, just in case I'll check that. This stuff's very important. What you choose here, and this is not set for life. You can start as a general freight, and then 6 months later you can get into delivering vehicles, and that would be delivering for the dealerships, picking cars at the auctions, but you just would have to go and update your MCS 150, and this would reflect, and then this would show that the general freight box will disappear, and it will show that you are now delivering motor vehicles. Because yes, the prices for the insurance are different if you're a car hauler versus general freight. Car hauler typically is $3,000-4,000 more, because car hauling is considered low-level hazmat, and the minimum required insurance by FMCSA is $1 million versus $750,000 for general freight. Same thing, reefer. Reefer is a more expensive category. Same thing if you're, start getting into metals and coils and, oil field equipment, like oversized, large equipment. So that stuff is important. Like I said, we've seen it time after time after time. And the big ones would be where people would check, they would check general freight and then hazmat, like chemicals, because they might say, well, but I was thinking maybe one day I'll deliver. No, this is, that's going to affect your insurance. That's going to affect you upon audit, because when you get your DOT audit and they'll see that you checked some of those hazmat commodities, they'll say, so what are your, hazmat stickers and placards? And you'll say, well, I didn't know that. You'll be in trouble. You'll be dinged. So, like I said, stick to general freight. And let's zoom in. But again, unless you are really delivering motor vehicles or building materials, and if it's a flatbed, then yes, you can have general freight and add building materials. Or if it's something that's not even listed, then you would choose others, and that's typically for dump trucks, because the dump trucks is dirt, sand, and gravel. When you're a dump truck, you only need to choose dirt, sand, and gravel, and most dump trucks, they only need DOT number. Some do need MC numbers. Again, depending on your situation, depending on the contracts. If you're a dump truck, you would check other, and you would list dirt, sand, and gravel. Okay, but my company, I'm general freight. Go next. All right, and this is the summary of all that I've completed so far. Again, make sure it's accurate. If you need some time, you can save it and go back, finish it later. But we'll do this in one sitting. And now FMCSA needs to capture some details on vehicles you plan to operate. Another area where we're seeing errors. Please provide a number of non-commercial vehicles. Non-commercial meaning under 10,000 pounds of GVW. So I will not have any personal or pickup trucks or cargo vans in the business. I'm getting 2022 Volvo, paying $150,000, so that's going to be my truck. So no, I do not have any non-commercial vehicles. And again, make sure you list, if you're starting with one truck, that's what you list. You're going to have one truck. Don't put, because I've seen it where people put like 10, and I'm like, you have 10 trucks? They're like, no, but I'm going to have 10 trucks in 8 months. I'm like, so you'll update that in 10 months. If today you're starting with one truck, that's what you put, one truck. Straight trucks, those would be your box trucks. Again, I don't have a box truck. Leased, throw away. And again, you have to enter all those zeros. Trailers, I don't have a trailer at the moment. It's okay to start without a trailer. You can always update this. I'm going to be power only, which means I will need trailer interchange. Okay. And intermodular, nope, don't have any of that. Okay. Go next. Okay, please provide the number of commercial vehicles that the applicant will operate in Canada or Mexico. I do not have any trucks in Canada or Mexico, or neither I plan on obtaining and operating in Canada or Mexico. Operate in interstate commerce. Yes, I will be operating in interstate. Again, that's where we talked intrastate versus interstate. I will be crossing state lines. So yes, I will have that one truck that's going to be crossing state lines. That interstate commerce. Oh, one. Okay, next. All right. Interstate commerce. All right, let's go next. So just a summary of the information I entered. Drivers. Okay, what is the number of drivers that will operate as interstate? I'm the owner-operator, just a driver, and yes, I will be driving more than 100-mile radius, so that's me. Go next. What is the number of drivers will operate intrastate? 0, because I do not plan to stay within the state, and that's where you make big bucks when you're interstate trucking, delivering across state lines. All right, and what are the number of drivers with commercial driver's licenses? And so I have a Class A, and I list 1. Oh, and so to go back to licenses, if you operate a cargo van, a hotshot pickup truck, or a box truck that's under 26,000 pounds, you do not have to have a Class A CDL. Your regular license is sufficient. Over 26,000 pounds, that's where, yes, you have to have a CDL. And sometimes we see where people that, going to get into Amazon Relay program, they'll say, well, it'll be a box truck and here's a VIN number. And I'm like, well, that box truck is 33,000 pounds. Oh, I didn't know that. So yes, some box trucks, just be mindful, they are over 26,000 pounds. And in this case, you would be required to have a Class A CDL. Okay. Number of drivers in Mexico and Canada. Nope, I don't have any drivers or do not plan on hiring any drivers in Mexico or Canada. Okay, the driver summary looks good. Click next. The financial responsibility. Additional questions to determine financial responsibility amounts, and this is what's going to determine how much of insurance we need to have. So do I have a vehicle that's over 10,000 pounds? Yes. My truck is, I think, 55,000 pounds. The answer is yes. And again, if you operate a cargo van or a hotshot pickup truck, some are under 10,000 pounds. And if you answer that no, then in this screen you see for a pickup truck or a cargo van, the minimum limit that you have to carry for commercial auto liability is 300,000. Again, that's according to FMCSA. Most brokers will still tell you need $1 million, but for the FMCSA's purpose, if you just want to activate your authority and then wait weeks, months until you start running, you can start with the 300,000 liability limit if you own a vehicle that is under 10,000 pounds, or if that's the vehicle you intend to operate. If it's over 10,000 pounds, which would be your box trucks, some pickup trucks, and the big semis, those need to have 750,000 limit. Again, once in a while we start arguing with clients where they're like, well, but FMCSA tells me I only need 750,000, and the answer is yes. FMCSA only needs 750,000, and this limit was set, I believe, back in the 80s. I'm pretty sure by now it should have been increased to at least $1 million, and FMCSA has been talking about that. They even mentioned 2 million, but I think that's far away. But I think the $1 million will probably happen anytime soon, but as with typical government processes, it does take probably time for them to catch up, because all the brokers, they require you to have 1 million. If you'll start the policy, and that's fine, you can start the policy with a 750,000 liability limit. Your filing is going to be issued, your MC number and authority is going to be activated, but when the time comes and you get on those load boards and start, bidding and signing up for loads, the brokers will say, send me a certificate of insurance, and I need to see that you have 1 million liability, 100,000 cargo. If you're power only, they'll need trailer interchange as well. So yeah, 750 is minimum, but you will eventually have to have 1 million, because those are the broker requirements. And again, depending on the commodities, if you're a hazmats are anywhere from 1 million up to 5 million. Car hauling, which is a low level of hazmat, car haulers required to have at least 1 million. So if you chose in those commodities that you are a car hauler, it'll say that you have to have 1 million. So just be mindful. And car hauling is a low, level hazmat, because there's fuel in the tanks, and so that's why it's considered hazmat. But again, I'm general freight, dry van, nothing fancy, nothing crazy. 750. And so needs to capture regarding entities relationship with any other FMCSA regulated entities. Okay. Does the applicant currently have or has had within the last 3 years? Basically, this is the question, and they're asking, have you operated have you had any other MC numbers where you were owner or part owner of the company? And you have to disclose that because FMCSA will find that record. If there was a company that, let's say, failed audit and there's, unpaid fees or violations, I mean, they will probably suspend this listing. But again, in my case, I'm a brand new, clean slate, don't have any skeletons in the closet. And that stuff, actually, insurance companies also have a way to finding and catching up on that because in some cases we're seeing where, it's a clean record, no violations, but the insurance still declining because they're saying, well, it appears that the same owner has had 3 other MC numbers over past 4 years, and it appears that those were, suspended or multiple violations or failed DOT audits. So again, you have to answer truthfully to that question. And no, I did not have any affiliations with any other companies in the past. It's a clean slate. Okay, certification statement. All right. Just a disclaimer, and now I'm just gonna be certifying that all the information I entered and provided is true and correct. And yes, this stuff is serious. This is 5 years of prison time or up to 250,000 in fines if there's something that I missed or lied on the application. But again, I answered truthfully. Everything is true and correct. And Joe Doe. Yep. Now the new senior. My email. Joe. Oh, senior application password. That's my application password, and my answer is, my title is I'm the owner. Okay, looks good. Okay, compliance certification. So this is certifying that this notice is that the representations made are subject to verification through inspections in the United States and through the request of examination of records and documents. And that the failure to present those documents, so basically, yes, the DOT, there's going to be audits. They can ask and they will ask for all the information. And as a new entrant, when you're creating a brand new authority within 12 months, typically it's 6 to 12 months, that's when DOT will perform new entrant audit. And basically they focus on the main things as your operational regulations, the safety and fitness requirements, the motor vehicle safety standards, and that you're meeting the minimum financial responsibility requirements. And that's, in a nutshell, it's just that, yes, you have insurance, your truck's got registration, you have your IFTAs, everything is in compliance, the safety fitness requirements that, you passed drug screening, you enrolled in the Drug and Alcohol Consortium, your CDL is active, the motor vehicle safety standards. Again, this is where making sure that, your maintenance is up to date, your truck's not falling apart, the lights are working. I mean, you'd be surprised the stuff that gets discovered, through those DOT inspections. And the minimum financial responsibility is that your federal filing MCS 90 is in place. And you will have, and so yes, I certified that, yep, I will be able to provide all this information. And in this next screen, it talks that on the new entrant DOT audit, you will have 48 hours to provide all that information. So make sure, all this that you have completed, IFTAs, registrations, insurance, MCS 90, insurance filing, BOC3, just have a nice binder, everything neatly. And so you can, because those audits, they can be where they just ask you to send information, or they give me on-site or on your premises. And don't just, and we heard horror stories where, when people get audited, they just come with a pile of documents and say, oh, it's what I have. I'm not sure if it's in there, but if you need my MCS 90, it should be in there. No, you have to be organized because the appearances matter. Be diligent, be prepared. Don't just unload a bunch of paperwork on their desk. and I certified yes that I will be able to provide all this information within 48 hours of any request. All right, and does the applicant certify is not currently disqualified from operating commercial vehicles in the United States? Yes, I certified, and again, this is the one where we see time after time. A typical one is where a CDL gets revoked or suspended because the medical examination does not get updated properly, and had one last week where the guy's been driving with suspended CDL license, did not know because he sent his medical examination to the state. They apparently did not receive it, or did not update it correctly. He had to resend it again. So it is up to you to make sure, and that's where yes, you have to pull your own MBR periodically, making sure everything is active, because sometimes errors happen because it's state, and through COVID everybody was short-staffed, so we've seen quite a bit of that where licenses suspended because the medical examination did not get updated on time or properly, and they had to send it a couple times in some cases. So, all right, and so does the applicant that designated about the process designation. So this is a processing agent. This is your BOC3 that you have the BOC3 filing, and you have a processing agent in case there is a legal action against you in some other state besides your home state. And yes, I certified that I have my BOC3, or I will have it shortly. Okay, that because so this is me certifying that my application, my registration with FMCSA is not under suspension or was revoked less than 30 days before filing the application. So basically, I'm not filing another one because my first one got suspended because I did miss something. And yes, I certify that it's not. Okay, and again, this is that if there was a suspension or revocation, that everything has been corrected. And yes, I certified that. All right, and electronic signature, that's my password again that it shows at the beginning. I still can't remember it. Oh, okay, and again, this is the summary of everything that I completed with all the certifications and attestations. And applicant's oath, again, this is under oath, saying that yes, everything is true, correct, and best to my knowledge and entered. So click next. And again, Joe, last name is Doe, and signature again, which is that password. Title, I am the owner. It feels exciting. I'm becoming owner of a trucking company. This section asks you to now, and I can use the same password, same email. So this is for FMCSA clearinghouse portal. You will not have to use and access this as much as the FMCSA application. This is where, again, address updates, phone number, email updates. So yes, you'll have to create that account as well. Okay, and yes, it's the same officer and again, make sure you save all this information, your logins, passwords, emails, because yes, once you complete your MCS 150 application, you'll get a DOT PIN mailed to you, and that's, you will use that PIN to access and update, your MCS 150, as you start doing business. And like any changes, address change has to be updated. Phone numbers, emails, changing of commodities, updating your staff. If you're decided you no longer want to be a carrier, now you're a broker, you will have to update that record. Okay, user ID is going to be my email. Okay, password, again, I'm choosing that same password. Because then the less passwords you have, the less confusion down the road. Okay, email, still using the same email, so I'll just do a copy and paste. Copy. Oh, I guess this one I need to enter it manually. Okay, and method of contact, again, I want both. I want to make sure I don't miss any important communication from FMCSA, so I don't get in trouble. Okay, would you like to use the same security questions? Again, you can choose different, but yes, I want to use the same ones. Next. Okay, and register for company official portal account. So yes, I entered all the information, and yes, I want to register for the clearinghouse account. Okay, again, name, Joe, title, I am the owner, and yes, I acknowledge everything is true and correct. Next. Okay, company portal account, so financial responsibility. Okay, one more time. Yep, it's just all those attestations that because it's a government, so everything is, yes, true, correct. You know, make sure no funky business. Okay, and now, so you have to pay $300 to complete the application, and without the payment, your MC number will not be generated and it will not be issued. Again, if you chose to, and first of all, make sure that everything is that you entered this correctly, because FMCSA does not provide refunds. So if you call them and say, oh, but I messed something, or I listed carrier and the broker, and because for each one you'll have to pay $300. So if you listed a carrier and then broker and a freight forwarder, that's $300 three times, $900. And if you completed that, but later on your agent told you, no, you cannot have that, no, FMCSA will not give you any refunds. They make that disclaimer, so make sure, again, you're aware of that. And again, I'm not going to submit the actual payment, but yep, this is where you submit a payment and enter all the information, and then you will, click submit. And what's going to happen, and you will be able to print your entire application. And once you hit submit, yes, you will be able, and make sure you print all summary HTML, because that's going to have everything that you entered, and it'll pre-populate and will have your DOT number. And like I said, within 24 hours, you will be able to see your MC and DOT number by going into safer.fmcsa.dot.gov. This is where you'll key in your DOT number or MC number or your company's name. And yes, you will pull up and see all your information, like this guy. Name, address, the DOT number, MC number, phone number. Like I said, he did, seems, he's for hire, he's interstate, general freight. The only part where he messed up, and this is just some additional information before I finish, is this is where your DOT inspection is gonna show up. So you see he had 5 vehicle inspections and he had 2 out of service violations. I mean, that's bad. That's like almost putting him out of business, and no wonder you see he's not authorized, meaning his MC number is not active, and probably is because he had those 5 vehicle inspections, 2 out of service violations, puts him at 40%. The national average is 21.41. He's twice the national average. And then he had 6 driver inspections, meaning the paperwork, the CDL active, that stuff. And he had 3 out of service violations. That's 50%. And that's versus national average of 6%. I mean, he's almost like 10 times the national average. I mean, no wonder this guy is out of business. And that's what the insurance brokers, agents, insurance companies check first. When you already obtain your MC number, your authority is active. This is a public record. Every broker shipper, before they give you a load, they'll check this place. And again, just show you a couple of other areas, licensing and insurance. That's where you will be able to look up, that's where brokers check, if you have insurance on file. And so he's in Texas. Let's see. Okay, and again, you see his DOT number, docket number, there's his MC number, legal name, DBA, you probably got confused, and you click under HTML, not report, but HTML. And so you see, the required insurance, $750,000, insurance on file, 0, means he has no insurance. The status is inactive. Let's see, active pending insurance, nothing, no data. Let's go under insurance history. Well, apparently he had insurance in the past. He had Progressive back, see Progressive, oops, let me go back, that's the policy number. Yeah, that policy started in March 15 of 2021. Then it was canceled in July. In July, he started again, probably was a missed payment, and canceled again, started again, canceled again. And then he was with Redwood Fire and Casualty Insurance from March 11, 2022 through May 24, 2022. That's Berkshire Hathaway. Got canceled. Who knows? Maybe because the violations, maybe non-payment. But this is a public, the reason I'm showing this to you, this is a public information. Anybody can see that, insurance agents, brokers, shippers. And you should be able to, check this. And then one more place I want to show you. So the DOT inspections, which show up right here, those, the 5 inspections, 6 driver inspections, and then if there, any crashes, those would show up here. That's the stuff that can put you out of business. That's the stuff that would make your insurance more expensive, because those violations, even if you have perfect driving record, no speeding tickets, no accidents, even if you have no claims, but if you fail DOT inspections and have those violations, your insurance upon the renewal would probably double. And in some cases, like this guy's, I don't think he would be able to get insurance again, ever. Just because, this is pretty bad record. And I know he's probably new, started, didn't know what he was doing, or sometimes people have company drivers that have no clue what they're doing. And under SMS results, that's where you go and you can see the actual inspections with all the details. So you would click under SMS results, again, all the information, and then out of service compliance and inspection history. So you see the entire inspection history. And if you click like on the inspection number, it'll tell exactly what happened, like the license plate violation, the brakes did not work, glazing permits, operating C and commercial motor vehicle without a proof of inspection. So you just one after another. Carrier name and the DOT number not displayed as required, ELD, so the ELD device was not working. So it was just one after another. And you can print a summary or download, because all this information is a public record. And you see, each violation, there's a point system that gets assigned. And like I said, in his case, it is pretty bad. 40% out of service for the vehicle, twice the industry average, national average, 50% for the driver. That's like, 8 times the national average. So again, be diligent, and everything will be fine. So that's basically it for today. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask us. We'll be more than happy to guide you and help you. If you want to talk to us, give us a call. We'll walk you through the application. We'll give you some advice as much as we can. We don't charge for that. And so that's basically it for today. I sure thank you for watching us. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for our next upcoming videos. Thank you and bye.